and it feels good because it feels like you're ordering books and you're not paying any money. Plus, I work for the library and I love supporting the library.
So when I saw Patterson, New Jersey, I was like, yikes.
Can you say that? Yeah. Today you're gonna learn so much about the people of Haiti, our cultures, and about
Hello. I literally just ended a vlog. So we're starting a next week of our weekly reading vlog. Listen, this is okay. Like, this is good. Like, I think I was feeling the pressure of weekly vlogs to like film every single day, but I do feel like this last vlog that I did turned out really well without me like filming every single day, because it's just some days during the week that I'm not able to film. So last week's theme was me working towards reading more physically, and so I set up a page challenge where I had several of my friends give me a number in between 100 to 400, and they picked that number, and those were the set number of pages that I had to read for the day. Actually got a lot read during that week. I think physically I ended up reading 5 books, I think, maybe 5 books, and then like 100 pages of a 6th book, and then I had a very long audiobook that I listened to that week as well. So it was a really good reading week. This week is hopefully not going to be any different. I am going to be focusing on more so like arcs this week and library holds. I know that Robin is going to kill me because she's like, girl, when are we going to start reading the physical collection? We are going to do that. We're going to do that. That's going to be a thing that's happening. It's just not the emphasis of this video. But I do have a lot of library books checked out, and I have a lot of arcs that I need to make it through. And so what I think I may do is this week I may focus on 2 arcs and 2 library books as kind of like just my thing. Like, those will be the 4 books that I focus on. I haven't picked them. Well, I can tell you the 2 arcs, and I can tell you the 2 arcs because the 2 arcs released this week, and so I would like to go ahead and read them during release week. I do get sent digital arcs, and it's not that I don't appreciate them. I'm just not as big of an arc reader as I think some people may be. So the first one that I have is Meet Me on Love Street. This is by Farah Heron. I do not know much about this one. It looks like it is a YA contemporary, which read very, very quickly for me. So excited for that one. And then Always Be My Baby, which I think is a cute play on Always Be My Baby, by Mariah Carey. This is by Priyanka Taslim, and it also comes out on the 10th. Now, I do have some other arcs that I have that are releasing, but most of these are not releasing until July or the end of June. So I'm going to focus on those 2 as well as 2 library books. Now, the 2 library books, I have a TBR cart downstairs that has most of my library books on it. I have a plethora of picture books that I do need to make it through and return because I need to put my next wave of picture books on hold. So, but I'm not counting those towards my 2 library books that I need to get done. What we'll do is later on this evening, because I definitely have to cook dinner today. I have to put away laundry because I cannot go another freaking week and my laundry is not put away. Like, I can't do it. So I need to I'm making lasagna. I need to do that, and then I have to get my kid ready for this week of camp, which every week is a different theme. They do different things every week, and so we have to prep for that. And then this week for me at work, I think maybe a little bit lighter. I have some meetings. I think I have 2 meetings this week, which is not bad because there are some weeks where it feels like that's all I'm doing is sitting in meetings. So I think I only have 1 or 2 meetings this week, which no, it's 2. It's 1 on Thursday, 1 on Friday. So first half of my week will be lighter than the second half of my week. But what I'll do is once she's down for bed this evening, I will go through, we'll look at my TBR cart, and we'll figure out what books I want to read from that. I also have 2 other library books I'm going to be reading, but that's for my Newberry thing. And so I actually may do those vlogs simultaneously because it's only 2 books that I need to read for the Newberry thing. And so I may just go ahead and knock it out. We'll see what ends up happening. I'll figure it out. But welcome to another weekly vlog. Hey y'all, I'm back and in a very weird angle. So we already talked about how I wanted my weekly vlogs to be themed, or to each week have like a mini challenge that I can do just so it'll keep me motivated to do weekly vlogging. So this week I wanted to focus on some arcs that I talked about earlier, and then I also wanted to include reading down my current library checkouts. I turned in a lot of stuff probably about a week and some change ago. I turned in a lot of stuff because I was like, I'm not reading this fast enough, and so I just returned a whole bunch of stuff. Also, my scanning project was like, girl, if you don't turn this stuff in so my scanning project was even like, sis, no, not gonna happen. Yeah, so I have some library books still that I kept checked out. I didn't turn them all in, and I already apologize for the horrible lighting that is here. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about it at this moment. So this is my TBR card, and I use my TBR card predominantly for materials that I currently have checked out from the library. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this card. I'm going to show you this card, and then to make things a little fun, to spice it up a little bit, if you will, I don't think I got everything, but I put most of these books into a spinner wheel. Now, I have trouble sticking to a TBR, but we're going to try this spinner wheel and we're going to see what's going to happen. So let's take a look at the TBR card first, and then we'll spin the wheel, and maybe I'll just do 1 spin at a time. Let's see how many spins we can get through. We're going to do 1 spin at a time because I don't want to overwhelm myself. And then we'll go from there. So TBR cart first. Okay, so my TBR cart actually goes all the way down to here. And then I have 2 titles that are just sitting against it. But we have a mix of YA and adult things on here. I think this is predominantly fantasy. A couple of thrillers down there. 1 nonfiction, I think, but primarily fantasy and thriller. Then we get up to this one. This is where I have more of my middle grade stuff. So and the middle grade is fantasy, everything from fantasy to historical fiction. I have some graphic novels on here, some young adult fantasy, young adult horror, adult stuff, more middle grade. And then at the top, very top here, I have, come on, focus for me, baby, focus. Can you focus on me? Sorry. I have some graphic novels and manga and manhwa over there at the end. And then I have the Tainted Cup randomly at the end. Alright, so we're switch back over now. Let's do our little spinner wheel. Alright, we are going to spin in 3, 2, 1, spin. Let's see what we get. Near, 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 near. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Alright, so we got Serpent and Dove. This is one that I've been meaning to read for a very long time. I don't know much about it. I know that it has a spin-off series to it, but this feels like Let's see here. It says 2 years ago, Louise LeBlanc fled her coven's witches and took shelter in the city of Cesarine, forsaking all magic and living off whatever she could steal. There, witches like Lou are hunted. They are feared and they are burned. Okay. Sworn to the church as a chausseur, Reed Diggory has lived his life by one principle: thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Damn. His path was never meant to cross with Lou's, but a wicked stunt forces them into an impossible union. Holy matrimony. So this is fake marriage. Okay? Or is it a marriage of convenience? The war between witches and church is an ancient one, and Lou's most dangerous enemies bring a fate worse than fire. Unable to ignore her growing feelings, yet powerless to change what she is, a choice must be made. Okay, this will be our first. That is very interesting. I don't know what made me check this one out. It's interesting that I even got this. I wonder what made me put this on hold and say yeah, this is the book. Okay, so this will be our first library read. Remember, I'm still going to be reading the 2 e-arcs that I talked about a little bit earlier. So I don't know which one I'm going to start with. I know that I need to go ahead and download the e-arcs. I also feel like I need to look more into this book, into Serpent and Dove, because now it's one of those situations where I'm like, when you just put stuff on hold and it feels good, because it feels like you're ordering books and you're not paying any money. Plus I work for the library and I love supporting the library, so there's that. But okay, all right, yes. In terms of other things that I'll be reading, I'm trying to think. I still need to finish The Whispering Dark from last week. I never did finish that. And I have some audiobooks that I'll be working on throughout the week as well. So I'll make sure that I check in with y'all about that. When I do finish this one, I will do another spin. The goal is at least 2 books. 2 e-arcs and 2 books from the library. That is my overall goal. I probably will read more than that, but that is the overall goal that we want to see accomplished. So I am going to start doing some reading tonight before bed. Hopefully early bedtime tonight. I'm feeling very, very tired. As you can see, I'm kind of already not my tag hanging out. I'm already in sleep mode. So yes, we're gonna go ahead and do that, and I will update y'all soon. Good morning. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this vlog. I am at work and I have a headache. It's just not feeling great today. I think it's a sinus thing because I feel it over the bridge of my nose and it's just not a great feeling. So, hello, good morning. I just wanted to do a really, really quick update because it took me so long to even get this microphone to work, and I don't know why it is doing that to me. But I wanted to let you know, I ended up finishing an audiobook yesterday. I finished, Audrey and Dash are not in love. I'll put the cover. I don't know why I can't get the name of this thing right, but it is a follow-up to 7 Days in June, kind of, sort of, not really, because you don't have to read 7 Days in June in order to get it. But if you have read 7 Days in June, I think it's an enjoyable read. But it's kind of one of those weird things because it is a teen book. It's the perfect teen contemporary romance. Absolutely loved it. Gave it 5 stars. It follows Eve's daughter, and Shane is there as the stepdad or whatever. So we get to see Audrey, all grown up teenager, who is very adamant about providing therapy to all of her friends at school and doesn't necessarily take care of herself. So Audrey decides that with her friend, she's going to make this list of things for her to do, and it's to kind of assist her in writing this kind of teen self-help book. And so she enlists the help of Bash. Bash has this really interesting reputation amongst all of the other teens at his school. This all takes place in Brooklyn, and it's just fascinating, like watching them do these challenges together, seeing them kind of like fall into their relationship. It was just adorable. I really, really loved it. I will do a better job of explaining it. I'm trying to hurry up because I do need to go, like I'm at my building. I just literally need to go inside, but I just wanted to let you know that I did finish that book. I also kept reading some more of Always Be My BB last night. I'm about in between 23 to 25% into the book. So it is a very, very quick read, which is not surprising, because of the fact that it is a young adult / teen contemporary. Those for me typically read rather quickly. We are following a main character who has gotten in trouble for lying to her parents going to prom when she wasn't supposed to go to prom. She gets caught, and so she's punished for the entirety of the summer, and she was supposed to just spend the time working at her parents' chicken restaurant, it's a chain restaurant with like 1,000 in the United States. They're from Bangladesh, and they are very like well known in their community in the United States. They live in Paterson, New Jersey. And when I like saw Paterson, New Jersey, the only thing I could think of was Teresa Giudice, because I can't say the Italian version of her last name. But all I could think about was Teresa, I'm from Paterson. So when I saw Paterson, New Jersey, I was like, yikes. That's the only thing that I could think of. So they're from Paterson, New Jersey. They're really, really well known in their community. And so she's supposed to be working there in the entirety of the summer. So when she gets home, her sister makes a surprise visit, and we find out that her sister is getting married. And so her and her fiance want to get married in Bangladesh, so the entire family goes there. It gives slightly like Crazy Rich Asians like type of vibe to it, because her sister's fiance is very, very wealthy. They have a tea, I don't even know the correct terminology for it, but they harvest tea. And so they're very, very well known for that, and they're very, very wealthy. Very prominent family in Bangladesh, and the main character's father is having a very hard time kind of adjusting to the fact that he's like not the big, he's not the big honcho everywhere. But so far so good. I do think that this is going to run into the issue of having a little too many plot points going on. Like the thing that I loved about Audrey and Bash is that one for me was very linear is not the term that I want to use, but it heavily focused on not just their relationship, but the two of their family, like their personal family dynamics, which impact their relationship. And so the story felt cohesive. I think what ends up happening is that when you introduce a plot, or when you introduce a storyline where the plot is just all over the place, or you have too many plot lines, the story doesn't feel as cohesive, whereas Audrey and Bash definitely felt cohesive. But Tia Williams is also a very, very excellent writer. So I give all credit to her for that, because I wasn't a fan of 7 Days in June, but this one was really good, as well as Love Song for Ricky Wilde. Like I really, really enjoyed that one as well. So I'm not surprised that she has written such a marvelous book. But unfortunately, Always Be My BB, I see it now falling into the trap of possibly having too many things going on, because we have a possible romance. She's supposed to be doing this dating thing with these profiles that her grandmother has set up. Then the brother of the fiance and the main character are not happy with the wedding situation. So there's just too many things going on at once. But I'm going to go ahead and go into work, because I'll sit here and I'll talk forever, and I can't do that. But I'm going to go ahead and go into work, and then I will check in with y'all later. Hello, friends. It's the same day. I apologize if things get a little scratchy on here because I put the mic on me today because I needed to move around a little bit. Why did I use so many like freaking paper towels? It's ridiculous. Hello. Welcome to chaos. So basically today we had gymnastics. We knew this with gymnastics. When I go and I pick my kid up today, they're like, oh, we're going on a field trip. Not a big deal. I knew that there was a possibility that they were going to go on this extra field trip because they do field trips on Fridays. There's an opportunity for an extra field trip. I was like, okay. True. Kind of figured that was going to be a thing that was going to end up happening. So originally in the email that they sent us about them possibly going on this additional field trip was that they were going to provide bag lunch. I was like, okay, perfect, right? I go and I pick my kid up today and they're like, oh, by the way, we need you to bring lunch and like all these extra things. Which irritates me because if you know anything about me, like I can procrastinate like on my own, right? If I want to wait till the last minute to do something, I will do that on my own accord. However, I do not like when I am forced to procrastinate on behalf of other folks, meaning that the only reason why I'm behind is because of you. That I don't like. So unfortunately, unlike every other day, like my schedule is chaotic because I work all day, then I have to pick her up, get her fed, get her changed into gymnastics stuff, leave the house again for gymnastics class, and then come back and immediately switch into we've got to get prepped for X, Y, and Z. So then I realized when she had to take lunch, I was like, okay, well, since you're going to be at another location, it's going to be hot because we're in the South, you need a bigger lunchbox. So the lunchbox that she originally had was the Super Mario one, right? Cute. But it's not deep. It's really shallow, which was perfect because, see, she didn't take lunch during the school year because they have lunch. They get breakfast and lunch at school, and that's her preference. She prefers to eat lunch and breakfast at school right now. I'm sure that'll change in the future. So I didn't have to worry about getting a super big lunch bag or anything like that, right? And then for summer, they provide lunch too. And so that we just use to pack her snacks in because they don't do afternoon snacks. They get breakfast, they get lunch, but the afternoon snacks have to be on the parents. So fine, whatever. So I was like, well, I put an ice pack in there, but I was like, it's gonna take away the depth of the lunchbox. So I had to get a new lunchbox, which is fine, but still, I had to get a new lunchbox. And I'm sure y'all probably like, girl, we don't even want to know all this. It's fine. Y'all are here. So we found a bluey one, which is deeper. And it's really cute. And I need to write her name on this thing because I forgot to do that. So it's fine. But then I had to make sure like I had sufficient snacks for her. And so I had to get snacks. And we had to go do that after gymnastics. And so what I had planned for today is not going the way I anticipated, which once again, it's fine, not a big deal. We did get a cute bluey lunchbox out of it. So I'm in the kitchen now trying to get stuff ready for tomorrow because that is the life of a mama. It is. So let's talk about reading. This is still the same day from the clip in the car. You just can't tell because I change my clothes before we go to gymnastics because I like to be comfortable. So I don't have on the same outfit. I'm trying to figure out which one I want. Should I do rainbow, chocolate, or original? I also bought these. They're miniature ones though, so they don't have, it's not like a buttload of sugar or anything in it. I think I may do rainbow. I'm feeling rainbow flavor. for me for tomorrow. I already packed her stuff. So, reading. What did I read or what haven't I read? Okay. Let me stop and pause and talk and stop trying to do a million things at one time. I am about 45% into Always Be My Baby, which I think is about 160 pages into the book. If my hair was on that mic, I'm gonna be so pissed, but I'm not saying that again. It's going well. I do think that once again, it's very fun. It's very readable, but my biggest criticism, of course, is the introduction of all of these plot points that I feel like just are a bit much. Like the fake, it's not fake dating. I don't know why I was about to say fake dating. The dating that she has to do with these guys, the trying to ruin her sister's engagement, and then there seems to be another plot point that was introduced in regard to her grandmother. It's just too much. It's just doing too much. But I do like the energy of it. So right now, at 45% and I'm thinking like 3-5. That could definitely change depending upon how the rest of the book goes, but I am reading that one on my Kindle, so I'm hoping to get more of that finished. I really do think I can finish that within the next day or so. Here's the thing, I probably am only going to get one other spin in on reading down my library TBR, because think about it, it is Tuesday and I still haven't started the Serpent and Dove book, and that book is 500 pages long. I just haven't had the chance to start it yet, but it's fine. It will get started and I will read it, but unless I'm knocking out like 250 pages a day, it may take me from like tomorrow till Friday to read it, and then I spin again and read like another book over the course of the weekend, which that just could be my goal, because I'm also trying to get at least one of these arcs finished. My goal is to get both of them finished, but I think I can, because YA contemporary, like I said, if I sit down and I read, it won't take me long to get through it. So there's that. And then I told y'all earlier in the car that I had finished a young adult contemporary romance. Audrey and Bash Are Just Friends. I don't know why I couldn't get that title right earlier, but the title of the book is Audrey and Bash Are Just Friends. Like I said, this is a follow-up to Tia Williams' book 7 Days in June, but this was written for a teen audience, and because we're following two teen main characters, and it was exceptional. I really adore this book. One of my favorites of 2025. It was just so well written, and Tia has a way of writing her characters in kind of like, I don't know, just the personalities that she gives her characters are just amazing. I did not like 7 Days in June like that. Like, it was a 3-star read for me, but I was not blown away. So I took a risk, what I thought was a risk last year, reading Love Song for Ricky Wow. I thought I took a major risk reading that book last year. Loved it. Now another one, loved it. So that just may have been a one-off where just in terms of like tone and topic, I didn't like it. It just felt too heavy for me. But these past two books, these past two releases that she's done, I've really enjoyed. I also ended up finishing a middle grade book on audio today, Once for Yes by Allie Millington. This was okay. This is like a 3.5. It's interesting storytelling. This is the same author who wrote the book about the typewriter, Olivetti, which part of it is told from the perspective of the typewriter, and this one is told in part by the perspective of this it's a building that's been turned, like it's apartments, but the building itself has its own personality, and so it's partly told from the building's perspective of like observing all these people, and we're focusing on we focus on different families or individuals within the building because there's this interconnectedness to it, but we're primarily focusing on a family where it's mom, dad, 2 girls, and there was a third who passed. And so we are watching the family go through this process of grieving, and how difficult it is for each one of them, and how each one of them is grieving like definitely different from each other, because the main character that we see in this one, the baby of the family, she is taking it the hardest. And it's kind of like the book 13 Ways to Say Goodbye that I read last month. Did I read that last month? Everything is blending together. I think I read that last month. It's the same kind of concept of a younger sister reaching the age that her sister the age that her sister died, and then surpassing it, and it feels awkward because you shouldn't, like, as a baby sister, you should not be surpassing your older sister, but because of death you are. And so conceptually I thought it was done very well, but sometimes it was a little difficult to follow because of the thread to the story and the introduction of different characters. Not saying that the end goal of it wasn't good, because we do get this interconnectedness of the characters that I did like, but it was kind of hard to follow at some points, and it was slow. It was slow to the point where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do it. And I was like, no, be patient with it. Give the story time to build. And I did. And I am interested in checking out the author's other book. I need like middle grade books to, yes, explore themes, but a lot of 2025 releases have been an exploration of grief, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but middle grade this year has felt particularly heavy, and I'm not digging that. There have been some that I've really, really enjoyed and loved, but there is this consistent thread of grief that I've been experiencing with middle grade, and I am starting to realize that it's taking its toll on me. So maybe I need to, like, I don't know, find something else. I got some book mail. I'm gonna do this really quick because I gotta finish packing up. This stuff was sitting in the rain yesterday, unfortunately, and I know that there's nothing that they can do in terms of, like, you know, like USPS. There's nothing that they can do because this stuff can't fit my mailbox, and so, and I don't have an awning like in front of my door, if that makes sense. Like, so there's like no porch to put it on. So we kind of just take that risk. But these are both from Candlewick, and they seem to be, oh my gosh, did I literally just put this in did I just buy this book today? I did just buy this book today. Not me, but I just bought this book for the library today. This is Peachaloo in Bloom by Chris Roshka. I literally was just reading reviews of this book today. That is absolutely hilarious. This is a book about a main character by the name of Peachaloo, and I think that this is realistic fiction. It's like a mix of realistic fiction and mystery, but Chris Roshka, if you did not know, is best known for the work that he does with picture books. He had another title that released last year, the year before, so interspersed throughout the book, there's going to be these illustrations. Okay, I don't think I was expecting this one, but thank you to Candlewick for that one. Yeah, Peachaloo in Bloom, and they package their stuff so nicely. Like, none of this stuff got wet. So I have another one from them, and this one is also another one. When did this come out? Did this come out today? Am I bugging? Or does this come out in July? Okay, hold on. Oh, Oh, I'm excited for this one. No, this one comes out in July. This is another one I read reviews on. Okay, so this is Graciela in the Abyss by Meg Medina. This is a fantasy. It is a girl who ended up, it's the spirit of a 13-year-old girl who is living on the bottom of the ocean. And I can't remember if it's going to go into like how she died or whatever the case may be, but she is a sea ghost essentially. And there is a main character who is trying to destroy a spear that is known to be able to destroy any sea ghost. And this has pictures in it too. It's illustrated. Shout out to Candlewick coming through with the book mail. These are nice. Look at that. That's pretty. Okay. So thank you to Candlewick Press for these 2 books. Maybe I need to do a vlog. Is that a spider? What? I just can't win. I just can't win today. Anyway, I'm going to finish up in here. And then I probably will continue reading some of... Now that thing has me so damn distracted. I'm going to continue reading Always Be My BB. And then at some point, I am going to start Serpent and Dove. I will. I'm going to. I promise. Oh, I should probably tell you what I'm listening to as well, and then hop off of here. So the next audiobook on the docket is Out of Air by Rachel Reese. This is about divers, but it's a young adult thriller. And so I'm intrigued. I mean, I saw Out of Air, and like my biggest fear is the ocean scares me. Like, I go to the beach, I get in the ocean, I can swim. Like, it's not a problem. What scares me is being in a large body of water and not knowing what the hell is going on underneath me. I don't like that feeling. And then I have gotten caught up in like TikTok videos of people who like explore like deep sea diving. Yeah, I don't know why I torture myself in that way, but I do. And so there's that. I did miss my episode of Love Island last night. I don't know, man, y'all. Love Island this season is not shaping up to what Love Island last season was. But I know you can't compare seasons but then I like season 5, even season 5, Love Island USA season 5, I went back and watched, and I enjoyed that season as well. But I can't root for Ace Men are trash this season. Like horrible. Like there's nobody to root for. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm done. And I will check in with y'all later. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like this. Hello. All right, I have to do a very quick check-in because I am actually, you know what? I don't even know why I sat down here to do a check-in because it's not like I've made much progress. I got up at 5 o'clock this morning, which I don't typically do, but I kind of like it because I feel awake and I feel refreshed, but I know I'm going to be tired by the end of the day. I needed to get some movement in. I used to be very good about getting movement in about a year ago before everything happened with my family, and it was just really good for me health-wise. And I have noticed that I just kind of let everything go over the course of a year, and that had a lot to do with like grieving and kind of dealing with some depression too, if I'm being fully honest and transparent with myself. But I was like, I may not do this every day, like getting up at 5 o'clock, but I wasn't able to get some movement in yesterday. I was very sluggish, didn't really do a lot. As y'all know, like I was super tired yesterday. I actually ended up not reading anything because I caught up on Love Island, which I'm glad I did because the last episode was super messy. But I didn't read anything but I was like, I'm gonna get up at 5 o'clock. I'm gonna be productive, get some stuff done. So I worked out, got dressed, filmed a video. Now I gotta go get my kid so we can get ready to go to camp. But I just wanted to do a check-in and let you know that I plan on reading more of Always Be My Baby today. I'm hoping to finish that book today. That is the end goal, is to finish that book today. But before that, I have to read Marvel vs. Craven because we have book club tonight. I don't want to do it, but I have to do it because we have book club, and we rescheduled because Brie and I had met up 2 weeks ago, and it was on the night that we typically have book club, and so now we have to do book club. So I need to read that during my lunch break today, but hopefully tonight, post the live show, I can take some time and really read Always Be My BB. So we'll see how that goes. I will check in with y'all later. Don't mind me and my crazy hairdo situation right now. It is just so hot here, and my locks have gotten so long that I get hot because it's so much hair at this point. I just get really, really hot. Okay, so I really wanted to hop on really quick because I only have about 3 minutes. I am about to do an anime watch-a-thon with my patrons. It's something new that we're doing because I have been missing out on a lot of anime. I just haven't been prioritizing it. Haven't made time for it at all. So for this month of June, and then if everything goes well, we'll definitely continue it for the rest of the year. Every Thursday night at 9 o'clock my time, we are going to be watching a couple of episodes of an anime. Tonight we're going to be watching 2 episodes of Sailor Moon. It's been so long since I've done a Sailor Moon rewatch. I'm so excited. This is such a nostalgia type of thing for me. So I've got some snacks. I'm probably not gonna eat all these snacks, to be honest with you, because I really just kind of took stuff from my kids' stockpile in the kitchen. So I got some Cheeto Puffs, Go-Go Squeeze applesauce. I have a Rice Krispie treat, but I almost am not low-key in the mood for it. But I also have a limoncello LaCroix. These are good. I have grown fond of LaCroix because I typically would not drink them in the past, but I've grown fond of them, and the limoncello, gosh, it's so good. All right, very quickly, reading update. I'm super behind, y'all. It always seems like when I'm last week, it was the same thing where my Wednesday and Thursday just got super hectic. So I'm going to do a quick update, and then when we get finished watching our anime, I'll come back in and do a more detailed update. But I ended up finishing an audiobook. I don't even know if I talked about this audiobook, but we're going to talk about it. So YA horror thriller. Very interesting mashup. And I'm about 50 pages done with, I have 50 pages left of Always Be My BB. I'm finishing that tonight because I need to move on to Serpent and Dove. That's going to happen. We're going to finish it. We're going to talk about all of that. I also started a adult thriller, Cross My Heart, on audio. So that's probably going to be my audiobook for tomorrow, as well as, no, I'm probably just going to finish it tomorrow because it's a really quick read. But I see that my time is up. It's 9 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and start our watch-a-thon, and then I will check in with y'all after. I promise.
Why you hanging on the roof all by yourself? I have an open invitation, but you're telling me go get lost. I don't wanna see your face. Yeah, what the hell? So why don't we stay out to the morning light? Cause two wrongs can make a right. We're just doing what we're feeling right now. So Chardonnay, we camp in the parking lot. Leave traces of plastic cups. We're pretending that you like somebody else, like you got boys waiting in line to take you home. But tell the truth, you spend the night alone. Let's be alone. So why don't we stay out to the morning light? 'Cause two wrongs can make a right. We're just doing what we feeling right now. So what the hell? Why you hanging?
Can you say hello? Hello. That's how you say hello in Creole, the language of Haiti. Has anyone been to Haiti? Yeah? Okay. You may know it as Haiti. But where we from, we call it Haiti. Can you say that? Yeah. Today you're gonna learn so much about the people of Haiti, our cultures, and about
Hey y'all, so I typically don't do this. I don't film outside, but it is, for being where I'm at in the South, it is a somewhat pleasant day. It's overcast, it's humid though, it's like very, very muggy. But I was like, you know what? I haven't like done a clip outside in a very long time, and my kid has her own thing going on inside. I apologize, because also the units for the air conditioning are like right here, so it probably is going to be a little loud in the background, but we're going to push through. Air has to be on here in the summer because it feels yucky. Okay, so a couple of things that I wanted to talk about and wrap this vlog up. This was an intense week for me, just like in terms of a million other things I felt like I needed to get done, and not realizing how much stuff I actually needed to get done. So I read quite a bit, don't get me wrong, but I didn't get through as much as I wanted to get through. So we're just going to go back and kind of highlight what I did end up finishing, because I don't even think I even checked in about Always Be My BB, which is shocking because I promised you, I was like, oh yeah, I promise I'm gonna come back and da da da. No, I didn't. I ended up doing my 2 episodes of Sailor Moon with my patrons, and then I ended up finishing Always Be My BB, and then I caught up on Love Island. So there's that. That was just a mistake that not a mistake, but it was just a thing that I ended up doing and not checking back in. Let's see, what else did I end up doing? Then it just got busy. Like you could see, like from the B-roll footage, like yesterday was Saturday, and we just had a lot going on yesterday, but for some reason I was able to read a lot, which we are going to talk about in a second. Okay, so I ended up finishing an audiobook that I never really got the chance to talk about, and that was Out of Air. I'm gonna give this one 3.5 stars. It was such a I had such a visceral reaction to this book. This includes some elements of body horror, and also kind of like that feeling of being out at sea. So like if that's not your thing, if you are like how I am when it comes to large bodies of water and the possibility of running out of air to breathe, like this book at one point felt like I was hyperventilating reading this book. So if that's going to bother you, I caution you when making the decision to pick up this book. So I ended up finishing that one. It follows a group of teenagers, primarily the group of, I think it's 2 other girls and 2 guys. The 4 of them come from money, but our main character doesn't. She never really met her father. Her mother left her with her grandmother, and her grandmother either has Alzheimer's or dementia, and so there's kind of like that family structure issue going on there in terms of how she feels about her family dynamics and her close relationship with her grandmother. And it goes back and forth between time. It took me a while to kind of pick up on what exactly was going on, where they ended up discovering these gold coins. I think the issue in this is that the gold coin aspect leads you to believe that there's going to be some element of modern day pirates, but not really. I mean, yes, but no. It's not as like pirates heavy, or like we're trying to how do I say this? We're dealing with other groups that want the same amount or want the same thing that we want in terms of these gold coins and stuff like that, like treasure hunting. It's not so heavy on that. What it's more heavy on is the paranormal body horror aspect of it, where two of the characters, including our main character, end up going into this cave where there's this pocket of air, not realizing that there is this legend that's tied to it, and they end up actually like changing. What I do wish this book would have done a little bit more of is actually, and of course the sirens, the moment I decide like, hey, I'm gonna come outside and I'm gonna do this because the weather is somewhat decent, everything is going to be exceptionally loud. Like, what the fuck? I hate that for me. But what I do wish it would have done is explain a little bit more of the legend and lore. Like, we got the fact that there was something wrong with this cave, there's something wrong with the air, and I don't think that the changes that these characters go through is just metaphorical. Like, they actually do physically change, and it's kind of gruesome the way that they change, to be honest with you. But I don't feel like we got enough backstory to like where, like, what was so what is the lore, the legend, the myth behind this specific cave. But I did think that the changes that they went through, kind of the descriptions of their changes, the descriptions of the diving, clearly the author either, and I didn't check to see if like they've done diving before, if this was something that they just researched, they did a very, very good job in those descriptions. I mean, really making you feel these experiences just through the words that they used on page is absolutely exceptional. But I do think that there were some pacing issues. There was a little bit of social commentary about, you know, wealth and poverty and communities and how that does or does not impact friendships. I think that that could have been a little bit deeper. I also wasn't like a huge fan of the romance. Like, I go back to say this, right? Like, I think that publishing sometimes may push authors to believe that every novel that's written for a teen audience specifically means that it needs to have some type of romantic elements in it, and that's so far from the truth. Like, I don't agree with that. And sometimes when a novel is good without the romantic elements, you can tell, because the romance ends up feeling really, really out of place. And I think we kind of got that with the situation where the romance unfortunately just felt slightly out of place and not as cohesive as I would have wanted it to. I mean, I think that it was a catalyst for some things that were discussed towards the end of the book, but as far as me being invested in it, seeing the connection between these two characters, not so much. So that to me was kind of a pitfall. But I mean, overall, like, it was a 3.5. It was a solid read. I did enjoy myself. It was unlike anything that I think that I've read before in young adult, so there's that. In terms of other audio, I did start Cross My Heart. I'm about 45-ish% into Cross My Heart. I do plan on finishing that either probably between today and tomorrow, but we're not going to worry about that because I don't really talk about that stuff anyway. But I did start that. I didn't get to finish it because I think in one clip I talked about, I'll just make that my audiobook for Friday. No, that was not a thing that ended up happening. So it will get done. It will get done because I have a couple other thrillers along with that one that I do need to finish relatively soon. Okay, let's talk about the arc that I read and the library books that I ended up trying to tackle. So the arc that I read, which I talked about a lot throughout the course of this vlog, was Always Be My BB. This one was a 3.5 for me as well. I think that it had some great elements, but like I've been saying throughout the course of this vlog, I think it just did too much. I think that there were too many plot points in this that just were not necessarily necessarily needed, right? They ended up going on this hunt for a lost love of her grandmother's, and I don't know why that was a thing. The sabotaging the relationship between her future brother-in-law and her sister, I didn't understand that either. I do think that the differences between the two families would have been a catalyst enough to tear the couple up. It didn't need any further pushing from BB and our other character, and his name is slipping my mind right now. It didn't need that, right? That to me was where I think it faltered, where we introduced all of these plot points that really were not necessary to the story as a whole. I think highlighting the differences between the two families and talking about how they viewed their family structure, how they viewed tradition, like that would have been enough to drive the story. I think that including the parts of her doing this, like the speed dating thing, I think that was fine. I do think that helped her come to some realizations, and I think it helped foster the relationship that ends up leading between her and her potential love interest in the book. But those other 2 points, I'm like, they were there and they just weren't needed. And so when we got to those specific points of the story, it felt disjointed, it felt disconnected because it didn't need to happen. But other than that, like, I really enjoyed BB's character growth and understanding her as a character, because she can come off one way, and it has a lot to do with how she sees herself in comparison to her sister, and how other people have viewed her in comparison to her sister, and how she's had to cope and deal with that, and kind of like her flaws, coming to recognize her flaws. It's a beautiful coming of age story, and I do, in this case, I did like the romance, right? I do think that it fit within the framework of the novel as a whole. I do think that all of the different cultural elements of Bangladesh were great. I think I learned so much that I didn't know before, and there's historical references in there that I'm interested in learning more about. So overall, like I said, this wasn't a bad read. It was a 3.5. It just took me a while to read it because of how my week was structured, and so that just ended up taking me a little bit more time. But other than that, like 3.5, I'll be interested in seeing what else this author does in the future. Now, I didn't get to start my other arc that I had, so I probably will try to slip that in sometime over the course of the next week or so. I would like to get that read and the review posted before the end of the month. I did end up finishing my first library spin though. This beast of a book, Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mehurin. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. I am late to this. This book came out in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. Harper Teen did this. Yes, Harper Teen did this in 2019. So I am a proper 6 years late to reading this book. This book is massive. It's over 500 pages, and I devoured it in 48 hours. Don't ask me how, okay? I don't know if it was the way that it was written, but I even was shocked at how fast I read this book. I was mind blown, and I actually ended up not reading it physically because I didn't realize that this book was available on Kindle Unlimited. So another question as to why did I check this book out from the library? I just don't think I knew that it was on KU. So I checked it on KU and I read it on my Kindle, and I flew through this book. It is a paranormal book that deals with witches. We have our main character Lou, who is a witch that is hiding undercover from someone, and I'm not going to spoil who that someone is because I do think that this book does a good job of dropping twists and turns, and I did not see not a dang on near one of them coming. None of them. When I tell you it dropped twists and turns like no other, I mean, I was gagged at some of the twists and turns in this book. So we do follow a main character by the name of Lou. We know that she's a witch. That's in the summary, and she is hiding not only from the what they're called, they're called, and French is amazing because I took French, and you know, I lost all of it. There's chasseurs, which they're part of the church, but they're an elite group where there's a limited amount of positions, and their job is to protect the people from the witches. They have special tools that allow them to do so, and so we are also following perspective of Reed, who is one of these individuals and has a very strong stance against the existence of witches. It's what he's been conditioned to believe his entire life, and so Reed and Lou do end up encountering each other under certain circumstances. Once again, not going to mention what those circumstances are, but they do end up crossing each other's paths, and everything that she has known about chasseurs, which she hates them, everything that he knows about witches, he hates witches. It gets twisted and turned, and it's very confusing for each one of them. I will say that I already have Blood and Honey on my Kindle. I know that that is one where people's opinions kind of go downhill about the book, but I do think that this first one is very good. I do think that the pacing, it had pacing issues, which is why I can't give it 5 stars. I mean, the first part of this book was extremely slow, but I do think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we were doing a lot of intricate character building in the first half of this book, and then we were able to really delve into the plot, and that's when the book got really fast paced. I could see how she already built up some character relationships for the second book, and I'm interested to see how those are going to play out. I haven't read a witch book in a very long time, so I was fascinated by this, and I'm definitely interested in checking out book 2. 4 stars for me, y'all. That was the ultimate surprise of this entire thing. I was not expecting to like that as much as I did. 4 stars is not what I thought. I was like, maybe 3. You know, I was thinking like 3. I went in with low expectations, and it completely kind of blew me away. Now, I did end up spinning my wheel last night, because I think when I got to page 400 of that book, I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to finish this before the vlog ends. I'm going to do one last spin. So I did spin, and I did end up pulling Gazing at the Star Next Door. This is volume 1. This is about childhood friends. The guy is he's a star, like TV star, model, and they've known each other since they were kids, and so it's clear that she has a crush on him. There's this fascination with him that she has, or infatuation that she has with him. So she takes care of him a lot throughout the course of what I've made it through, and I don't even know if the pages are in there, but I'm only a little way through that, right? I plan on finishing it today, but I did need to wrap this vlog up so I can get this posted. But I like it so far. Clearly this is going to end up being a romantic relationship between the two of them. That's very clear. I like the artwork, I like the storytelling. We'll see how it ends up turning out for me. So I didn't get to finish my 2 spins and my 2 arcs, but I do think I read a decent amount for this week, considering how busy my week was, and I got through a 500-page book in 48 hours. I'm very impressed with what I've done for the week. But as always, let me know what y'all read this week. Let me know if there are any library checkouts that you have that you're trying to get through. And as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, click the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. If you're interested in supporting the channel, all the links will be down in the description box below, and I will be back with another video soon. Bye.